So in terms of the stocking rate versus carrying capacity report, just a reminder of the value here. So historically, this is a tool for producers to be able to come in and understand how are they tracking, how is their stocking rate tracking versus their long-term benchmark carrying capacity. So this green line being the benchmark that their farm can support, and this red turning into black is the stocking rate. So this here is showing me that for this period last year was over the benchmark in terms of the stocking rate that I was supporting on farm, but has seen that reduce underneath my benchmark, which is where I want to be today. So really this uses all of the stocking rate data that people have in AgriWebb already. So even more important for people to have their DSE, LSU accurate in AgriWebb, and then also uses their rolling rainfall numbers as well, which is this blue line here. So historical, that's great, but it's not allowing me to make decisions ahead of time. I can reflect and see how I've gone, but I can't really change what's happened in the past, whereas I can change or attempt to change what's going to happen in the future. So this is where the forecasting tooling comes in. And here you can see we've got a few different views. So combined being 6 months back and 6 months forward, or forecasting, which just looks forward, and I can change the granularity of view that I want to look at using these date ranges here. So from a forecasting perspective, it will straight away pull in whatever rainfall records you've got in AgriWebb and use your historical rainfall records in AgriWebb to populate your long-term rainfall numbers. So you can come in here, either use those numbers that AgriWebb's produced, or if I have more accurate long-term averages that I want to utilize, I can come in and override that and save it down. Or I can also use the rainfall importer here as well that we've recently released to make it easier to get my historical data in there, and then that will mean that my long-term averages are more accurate. So that's the long-term rainfall numbers, which are important to get in, as see the rolling rainfall is driving this chart. The other piece is the stock flow. So this is where I can come in, see basically what my numbers are as of end of June. That'll flow into July, and then I will see per age class what's happening on farm per month. So all of the auto aging functionality is reflected in here as well. And I can come in and add additional events. So for example, I can come across to my sheep and I can say that, okay, I know that I'm actually going to sell most of these sheep in December. So I'm going to save that. And I can also, switch between seeing my DSE numbers or my head numbers. If I, for example, didn't have any lambs in the system, I could turn on and show all age classes and then come in and go, okay, actually I want to birth, I know that I'm lambing at this time, I'm going to add in lambs. And now if I come back, those numbers that I've got in the stock flow are reflected in this chart. And the next really cool thing that I can come in and do is a bit of scenario planning. So I'm going to come in here, create a new scenario. I'm going to predict that we're going to have a pretty dry next 6 to 12 months. So I'm going to say dry 2026, and I'm going to bring this down to, let's say 50% of my average rainfall. So you can see here, I've got 50% rainfall, and I'm going to come in and adjust my stock numbers below as well. So here you can see I'm tracking pretty well up until February, where I then, because of this decline in rain or predicted decline in rainfall from February, I am going over my benchmark. So for producers, they're probably only generally planning 6 months ahead, but I could look to, plan a little bit further ahead and go, okay, what am I actually going to do to adjust these numbers so that I can get it a little bit more in line with my benchmark? I might be okay because I've been, consistently under my benchmark for this period of time. So I have a little bit of wiggle room to be a little bit above, but this June jump is probably the more concerning part. So I can come down here again, perhaps look at my sheep and understand what I want to do. So let's say in January, to get ahead of what I'm able to do with my sheep, I'm gonna apply that to my scenario. And as you can see here, we've now got a pretty good run all the way through until June, really. So you can see how that's, that change in numbers by predicting a sale or, bringing forward weaning, other activities like that, agisting, I can come in and say, okay, I want to transfer off farm, and that can be used for agistment. And I can then come in and save that scenario. And because I'm looking 6 months ahead, I don't see any of that red. If I look 12 months ahead, you'll see that little spike that we've got still for June, and I can kind of keep an eye on how that's tracking based on the rainfall that I'm expecting. And you can come in, create as many scenarios as you want, and switch between those in this view here. As always, please reach out if you have any questions.